Come cook with me. It's Sunday. So we're doing corn and rice. Corn and rice is one of my favorites next to crab and rice. Everybody that knows me knows that. So we put our salt beef in the pot. We have to boil that, get some of that salt content out of that. We can leave that on and then we can come back and check on it. Now it's looking good. Boil that out and we can have to throw that water off and then put that back on and then throw that water off again, and that way we get a lot of that salt out of it. So this is me throwing off that water, rinsing them, making sure we get a lot of that salt out of that. Now we on to cutting up our herbs. This is our onions. I do use the whole onion for this one. We cutting into the half circles like what I told you. You could turn a half circle on the side and cut that in the middle, but that's just what I use. Be on to our sweet peppers. So we're taking all of the flesh off of that, whatever the white rind thing there, that. We're gonna start cutting them up into our strips right there. I'm going to use basically 3/4 of a sweet pepper for that. And now we're moving on to our ripe tomato. So we can cut these up, get them in the half circles, but with these I'm going to turn it on the side and then cut it again in half. Okay, so our herbs are cut up, so now we move on to our salt beef. You could use ham. I think one of these times I can try with chicken, and make it a real Bahamian. Chicken is our #1 meat. However, I can cut these up, so every spoonful of rice you get a piece of meat inside your mouth. Okay, so since this is the longest video that I've ever done, I'm going to entertain y'all with a story time. We can get all of these herbs and our salt beef into the pot to start frying down. But in 1 month, it's going to make 19 years I was married. Literally 19 years. And when I first got married, I could not cook at all. Putting our time in. Thyme adds so much flavor to it. Get all of that fried down. But I could not cook at all. Did not know how to cook. Didn't know how to cook anything. And what happened was my mommy had 6 children and I was the 5th of the 6 children. So obviously the bigger siblings are going to learn how to cook first, because she got to put them in the kitchen, make sure they could cook so they could cook for the younger siblings. And so before I moved, it just never was my time to get in the kitchen. So married, could not cook. And so I say, oh my God, this man with me and I cannot cook. And so on Sundays, I made a deal with my cousin, my older cousin. Her name is Janet. And my auntie, which is her mother, which is my Auntie Ruth. And I used to go on Saturdays when I go and I get my food from the food store, when I get my grocery from the food store. I used to tell Janet, listen, I come and buy all. And I carry all of my grocery, all of my ingredients, and I just sit by the stove and see what they doing, because they really could cook. So I learned right from there. There was no shame in my game because I couldn't cook, so it didn't make no difference to me. I just needed to learn how to cook because I know that man was suffering. He didn't tell me. But I know he's suffering because I was suffering. I couldn't cook. But every Sunday for about 2 or 3 months, I just carry my food there. At first, I watched them cook the food for me. I learned their technique and their style of cooking, and so everything that I learned to do, I learned right at their stove and their kitchen. Okay, so hold on, back to the video. Our herbs are already fried down, and so now we add our tomato paste into that. Give that a good stir around, because we want every herb inside the pot the salt beef to be, have the tomato paste on it. And now we're going to add our rice. Now we're stirring our rice because we're doing the same thing like with the tomato paste. We want every single grain of rice to be mixed in there properly. So by the time as you see me finish stirring this, ain't gonna be no white parts of the rice. Everything is going to be mixed together. Okay, so we have all of that mixed in there. And then we can add our juice from the corn that we strained off earlier. I think I was talking, so I didn't get to explain that piece. But I think that's straightforward. But now we're going to get our water to put inside of this. So like I said, this is 3 cups of rice. We're going to do 3.5 cups of water. My technique, like anybody who knows me, y'all know my technique is rice before water. Some people do water before rice. I tried that once. TikTok made me do it. It wasn't bad, but just wasn't, the way I would do it. So now we're going to mix that around inside there, the water with the rice and all of the other ingredients. All right, so it's pretty much mixed, and we can come in now with our seasoning. That's the same bird pepper and salt, mixture you was using for fish, but that wasn't enough. I tasted it wasn't enough, so I had to add a little more. And then one thing that we're going to do is add a little bit of browning to it. I don't fancy browning, but I'm just going to put just a little bit in there, mix that in there. I don't like dark brown rice, so it's just going to be a touch of it and mix around. So I think we go back to my story now, because we can leave this to set, turn our stove on low, and then we can come check back on that in about 30 minutes. But like I said, the first couple weeks by my auntie house, I just used to watch their techniques. They used to stand up over me and tell me, do this, do that, check it now, do the same things that I'm basically telling y'all. And that's why I do the videos, because I know it can only be me that did not know how to cook. So what I learned from them, and then I evolved into my own style of things. I always say my cousin Johnny taught me, and my auntie Ruth. And so yeah, I hope these videos working for y'all, because look at that rice. Look at that. Don't let your rice be rice, and then look at it. I mean, it's just an amazing pot of corn and rice. Everything 1-1. You're getting a bite of salt beef with every fork you put to your mouth, every spoonful you put to your mouth. So how's your pot looking? You should have been cooking with me. I doing it in real time. So how did your pot come out? Comment, let me know. Subscribe so that you can see anytime I post another video. I showed y'all I did this with just some baked chicken, potato salad, plantain. Please subscribe so that you could get the notification anytime I post another video. Thank you.